I'm really glad, you're here with me. Could you introduce yourself for the Afroplug audience, please?
My name is Ras Jammy. I'm representing Sons of Dub, which is a collective of artists and musicians and a performing collective, We are a record label, publishing company, and many other things. Me personally, I'm a record producer, I'm a DJ, and I'm a curator and producer of good things, good vibes.
Nice. You forget, where do you come from? It's really important.
I come from the world, man. I'm a man of the world. I was born in Trinidad and Tobago, I
Okay,
represent
nice.
the Caribbean and the whole African diaspora.
Nice. So, in Afroplug, we have like for more than 100 Afro genres, So, please be specific. What kind of music do you produce?
I produce primarily reggae music. And coming under the reggae umbrella, you have dub, dancehall, and I would slide in a bit of drum and bass and jungle there. But my primary focus is reggae music and the evolution of reggae music.
Nice. So I know you got a lot of major collaborations. Which one stood out the most for you?
Wow. In terms of collaborations, my personal favorites would be with Empress Sativa. She's a Jamaican reggae artist. She's the daughter of a Rasta man called Ilawi, who was the original operator of the 12 Tribes of Israel sound system in Jamaica. Empress Sativa, she's very successful right now, and she's one of the female artists at the forefront of the reggae, the new reggae wave, I think what's happening now is a lot of my favorites are becoming some of the unreleased stuff, But throughout the years, we did some remixes with RZA from Wu-Tang, and Meza one, which for me was also another favorite.
Nice.
And a lot of songs that we did with older veteran reggae artists, We have some songs with Prince Allah, and of course we have the things with Chronixx and Sizzla and these new school artists, But the ones that stood out to me really are the ones that, I find like a heartly connection.
Nice. Yes, I think music at first is really vibe, after money, but really vibe. So you make a huge milestone with your crew, your famous crew, Son of Dub. How did the mixtape with Major Lazer come about? Does it happen?
When I started Sons of Dub, the focus for me was really just record producing and managing. But to take it to the next level, I realized that we needed to make a different step. Major Lazer was not as popular as at the time, but I was a fan. So I was taking a page out of their book in creating a performing collective of Sons of Dub. And somehow with the universe, the way it works, around this specific time, Washifire was in Jamaica, and we were doing a lot of gigs at the Kingston Dub Club, and it was a very popular spot, and he came to the Dub Club, and I simply approached him, and I told him I appreciated what they were doing, and to my surprise, they were looking at what we were doing, and the connection was just instant. I told him we should indeed do something, because I think they had just finished a couple months before the Chronixx Start a Fire mixtape, and he instantly said, let's do a follow-up mixtape, because for them it was a very different sound, like we say, the evolution of reggae, evolution of dub, and it was a very simple, easy connection, reality connection, direct Kingston Dub Club vibes, the old school way,
So what advice would you give to a new Caribbean music producer?
Take time to understand what production entails. Being a music producer or record producer, is not necessarily being a composer. And I think a lot of times people get it mixed up. Most times composers are producers also, because they would do a bit of the tasks or the activities that a producer would need to do. But what I would say is do some reading, do some research, understand exactly what you're getting into, understand rights management, understand catalog management, understand what the needs of an artist, understand what is needed from you as a producer. Again, a producer's cap is not just one cap. It's a very broad, a very, very broad spectrum, and it entails many different things. A producer doesn't necessarily need to be a composer. A producer necessarily doesn't necessarily need to ever be in the room. So you need to understand what you're doing and what you want to do. If it is indeed production, if it is indeed composition, if it is indeed a bit of both. I think a lot of people look at the success that can come from the role, and they do not understand exactly what the role entails, and it gets a lot of things mixed up, especially now in a musical landscape that is very free and open.
I totally agree with you. Thank you for this knowledge. And yes, we speak about achievements, tips, but we don't have to forget something really important: the struggles in this type of career. So, what issues, what problems have you encountered in the course of your career, and what's the most memorable lesson you have learned?
I think when you begin to do music as a producer, composer, and artist, you are very wary of people that want to take a part of what is yours. You look at your product as your baby, and you're very a lot of times you're iffy about letting people in or giving you're iffy about even taking advice. I think one important thing is to take advice from the people who you trust know what they're saying. I think, because for me, some of the mistakes I made was being very headstrong. And for example, I learned a lot through researching and reading about publishing and understanding publishing. When I just started, I did not want anyone to have any percentage of anything I did if they did not work on it, and you begin to realize that if your role is an artist or a producer, you have a role. If there's a publisher or distributor or whatever the other roles may be, they have a role. And in order for you to do your job at the best capacity, you have to allow these other people to do their jobs. You may not fully always understand what everything entails, because music on a whole and music business is a very broad spectrum, but you have to learn to begin to trust people, because a lot of mistakes I made was simply not having a publisher for years, and then when I had a publisher and my own publishing company, I didn't have a sub-publisher for years. So it's like this. You may be using DistroKid or TuneCore or something simple, and you are seeing $200 every month, and you're happy to be seeing this, and you would think, why would I allow someone to come in and take 10% of my $200? But I think what happens is, when you allow someone else to come in, they amplify what you may earn. So when you start to work with the right people, you no longer would be earning $200 a month. You would probably be earning $300 a month. And then they would be taking 10% of this. I think it's a matter of understanding that when you give, you're actually giving for a reason. When you have people working with you that is taking something from you, it's for a reason. I think that, again, I think a lot of musicians, they hold it closely, because it's like your baby. You make a production, you make a song, it's your first works, and you feel like, how can I let this company out of nowhere come and take 10% or 5%? But a lot of times you have to understand that the work that is happening behind the scenes is worth much more than 5 or 10% of what you can give. Um,
Exactly.
I've learned that
You're right.
it's not just fame and going and singing or going and performing or going and DJing. I've learned that it's really business, and it's like any other business, any other thing you're doing. Most businesses take from the inception of the idea and the processing of the project and the manifestation. It takes about 2 years to get a business started and running. After 2 years, you would know if it's making sense or not making sense. I think it's very much similar with a music career, Of course, things may take longer. We have stories of artists who would release songs in the year 2000 and it only becomes a hit in 2009. It happens. But shooting stars is not every night, So you have to be very wary. I think one piece of advice I would give also is to be very wary of the fact that thousands and hundreds of thousands of songs are being released every day. And it's going to be 10 times in the next couple of months. It's going to be 10 times this, and then in the next couple of months.
Especially with AI, actually. So yes, it can be more. Yeah.
Exactly. So in doing whatever you're doing, you have to be unique. You have to be musical. Be unique and be musical.
Be you. Be you.
Be you.
Yeah.
You. Learn to play an instrument. I still don't have this privilege where I can play an instrument, and a lot of people don't know that. A lot of people don't realize. They don't know that in music theory and playing instruments, I'm not there yet, But this amplifies your ability by a million. You will not realize because you're understanding on a different level, So now that I'm learning, I realize more and more. Okay, this is probably where I should have been 5 or 10 years ago. However, the journey has to happen how it has to happen,
Everyone has its own path, so everything is okay. And I don't really agree because I know a lot of artists I love, even from my island, Guadeloupe. By example, Kassav create Zouk, and so they don't know how to play instrument. It's just by ear,
Exactly.
So yes, I agree because I play piano since I'm 7 years old, but I think music is natural. So by example, for me, you're a legend, man, and you love music naturally. You don't need instrument. I know you can live without music. So for me, a musician is really someone who can. For music, for them, is like breathing.
I think what people have to also do is understand what their specialty is. Understand what you're good at. Understand what you really can do. Like what you are good at. Not everyone can sing, but not everyone can sing as good as everyone else. Not everyone's going to be a singer. You may be spending a lot of time trying to be a singer or a vocalist, and your true talent may be in composing or producing or someone else. So understand really what you are good at, and how you can be useful.
Nice. So what are your next projects?
I'm currently in the Netherlands. I'm recording an artist from Kenya called Black Omolo. She does dub and reggae music. I have some projects coming out with Maccabee from the UK with the dub and reggae. Also, that's the Kikumba and Susumba Rastaman. And then we have some more electronic house, soca influenced fusion vibes that we've been working on with one of our composers called Sleepy Time Ghost. And we're going to release a Sons of Dub Meets Sleepy Time Ghost project very soon. And yeah, there's a lot of production. We took a break from producing music and releasing music. And I think in the course of the next year, every month, we would either see a Sons of Dub release or a release from the label with one of our artists or producers.
I hope so. I can't wait. Oh yes. Okay. Because and you know there are some bugs, so I will we put some question. I think it's okay because time go fast. So yes,
Yes.
the crucial question: how did the mixtape with Major Lazer come about, man? It's a huge milestone because yes, you from Trini. How does it happen? It's legendary.
We were, we were in Jamaica. We were in Jamaica. I was living in Jamaica at the time. I was living in Jamaica at the time, and my focus was Sons of Dub. When my focus was managing and producing. When I created Sons of Dub, I decided that for it to work, we needed to do something different. And the thing that was catching my eye at the time was the way that Major Lazer was working, because we had a very similar vibe, you know. We were in Kingston Dub Club because at this time we had become very popular playing music in the Kingston Dub Club, and this it was also a very popular place. So Walshy Fire, who was very active in Major Lazer at the time, he had happened to be at the Kingston Dub Club, and naturally I approached him. You know, it was nothing big for me. I approached him just to say to him that I really appreciate what they were doing because it was an influence to us. And to my surprise, they were looking at the things we were doing, you know. So naturally, he immediately said we should do something, and I was sure for me it was I was thinking the same thing, you know. He had recently done the Chronixx Starter Fire mixtape, and he immediately said we should try to do something like this. He ran it by Diplo, and Diplo loved the sounds that we were producing. And from that moment, we spent a couple months going back and forth, creating tracks, doing a lot of dub plates, because at the same time, we wanted it to stay true to the culture of what we were doing. So we recorded a bunch of dub plates, a lot of different styles, a bit of electronic dancehall vibes, a bit of deep roots. We incorporated some interviews from our first tour in 2013, you know, and we really, with Watchy Fire and the approval of Diplo, we really made the project whole, you know. And for me, it really was a big step and a big milestone, also in a direction that I really wanted to go. And for it was almost the beginning of a bit of a mixtape series, you know.
Yes.
Yeah, yeah, 2 years after this, we did the Mighty Crown mixtape. And then 2 years after this, we eventually did a mixtape project with Green Sleeps Records, you know. So it was for me like the beginning of a trilogy of mixtapes, but it was really the encompassing of how I wanted to present Sons of Dub, you know. So for me, it was really. Sometimes I still don't fully, you know,
Yes,
understand.
that
You know, you still don't
shout
fully
out, shout out,
grasp.
Watch Your Fire too, and
Yeah,
yes,
watch it.
that's a great thing, that's a great thing. I'm so happy because maybe you humble, but for me, you like a version
Yeah, I
of
think.
the future reggae dub, we would even work together at a time. But for me, it's really you bring this type of, yes, you're from Caribbean, but you can mix everything, from the diaspora, and yes, that's really huge. And yes, that's why I think Chronixx, you make the remix for Chronixx. I think you were Protégé. I'm not sure we Protégé, but I know
Yeah,
Chronixx and Sizzla, because you have these really, and thank you for existing, because um yes, I know music, I love Caribbean music, but you for me, even for me as an artist, you helped me to see the vision more larger, because people think in Caribbean music, when your music producer is only uh reggae, zouk.
with the Roots Future mixtape, for me, it was very refreshing, the sound, because these are the sounds that I see as the future or the evolution of the music. The music is what it is. Reggae, dancehall, it is what it is. And you see a lot of people doing things and tropical house and this and that, and they wonder if it's going to change or it's not going to change. Reggae is reggae, dancehall is dancehall.
Yes,
Most of
it's
the
a
music that
basic.
we're making,
Yes.
yeah, but most of the music we're making, most of the bass-driven music we're making, it is then coming from this reggae and dub side, you know. So with projects like the Major Lazer mixtape or the Roots feature mixtape, that is now honing in on these original songs and crossing them with other songs that are popular or that are present in the diaspora. For me, this is for me it's for me this is amazing. For me,
Yes,
this is the
and you're
most.
part of this. I have the question. What do you think actually about actually Afro music is really huge right now. It's like for me, it's like the new pop. So what do you think about it? So
I
yes,
think I think it's I think it's not going anywhere. I think it's going to go through its evolution. However, I think because of how the world is moving, you see where it's a bit of a fad thing in the Western world, because we have to remember that these guys were already rich with their music in Africa before the rest of the world catched on to it.
uh-huh.
But what you're seeing now is that artists are getting they're getting their 15 minutes of fame in waves. So you saw like Davido had his time. You saw where Burna Boy ha- had his time, because the new album of Burna Boy is not making as big of the impression
Yes,
as the last album, because everyone is now looking at Asake with the Amapiano style, and maybe Asake is going to do probably the same thing. He's going to come to London. He's going to sell out the O2. Everyone's going to be like, "Wow, it's going to be good." But then everyone's going to look for the next artist or the next sound. So I think what needs to happen
mm-hmm.
is a lot of development needs to happen in Africa to actually make it an industry, because in Trinidad with soca music, in Jamaica in dancehall and reggae music, there's a big lack of industry and professionalism.
Exactly. In West Indies too, French West Indies is the same. You know that.
I think if the talent things are happening in Africa, like I said, they're already rich there. They're selling out stadiums, they're doing things. But if to professionalize their craft, they need to come to Europe or they need to go to the US, then it's not going to develop anything in Africa.
Mm-hmm.
So I think what needs to also happen is I think Burna Boy said something about it, but it was taken a bit differently. I think the music needs to have more substance for it to stick more to people.
Right.
The music of Fela was very different. It was very similar. It's very similar. It's the same, but it was very different lyrically and in the expression and what he was singing about and fighting for and these different things. Now you have Burna Boy, these artists. A lot of times you don't understand what they're saying, of course, because it's their native language. However, as a producer or as a musician, you can tell when it's a song that is something meaningful, and you can tell when it's just words.
Yes.
So I think artists need to focus on making not top 10 or top 40 songs, but they need to focus on making songs of longevity within Afrobeat and our piano music. I think a lot more live instrumentation needs to come into the music. Not only when you see Burna Boy or Sake or a big artist do a big album, then you see it's a live album. No, I think a lot more live incorporation needs to happen. And it needs to work in collaboration with the new school vibes, the samples, the plugins, the Afroplug vibes, the different things, because this is the direction the world is going also. So I think, yeah, we need to, because for me, on an honest level, like for instance, I'm a piano. For me, it all sounds the same. It sounds the same. I don't think I could go to an I'm a piano party for 3 hours or something and listen to the music. I would be looking at the girls, because for me it's the same.
Yeah, I know some people don't. I love Amapiano, and yeah,
I love it.
you have to love it. You have to love it, But I understand what you mean. I understand what you mean exactly.
For me, you see the same thing happening in dub music, where you see a lot of 140 BPM.
Yeah, we got echo.
Yeah, it's like a trance like vibe, and it's just like
The delay. Yes, I understand. No, it's okay.
I know a lot of it has to do with a lot of it has to do with making music for longevity, but also making music from a place of your heart, and not just because you want to be popular or you see something you like, or so it makes it easy to separate the sheep from the
But
goat.
they can do both. By example, I know, yes, from the diaspora, but by example, Tupac do both. Tupac say, "Oh, well, let's have some fun with girls," and after that, he white dear mama, So you get
But let me
both.
say something. Let me
Yeah.
say something.
Mm-hmm.
When you look at expressions of people like when you look at expressions of people like Tupac, or you look at expressions of people like Bounty Killer or Vibes Cartel, or you look at these different expressions, you it's not this is coming from a real place. It's coming from a place of experience. It's
Yeah,
coming
very
from a place
struggle.
of this is what we know. This is the life we know. I saw where someone asked Byron Messiah, why every song you have to put in something about guns, and he responded by saying, we live different lives. We live a life where, of course, we love to have fun, but I have enemies, and you think my enemies want me to have fun? No. So it's a real thing. So but I think now too, because of the pace of the world, the youths are not. It's not easy for the youths to differentiate the reality from the entertainment, because for some reason I feel like it was much easier for our generation to listen to Tupac, Bounty Killer, and these gangster rap songs and understand it's just entertainment, But for instance, now you see the phenomenon in Trinidad of like Trinidad music, where it's the dancehall music, but it's very much proliferating gun violence and these type of things, and the youths are very much influenced by it. For some reason, they kind of differentiate the reality from the entertainment, So you can do both. You can do both because it's at the same time it is indeed art, and it is indeed an expression of your experience and an expression of what you know and what you've seen. If you grow up in South Central LA, or you grow up in the Beetham Gardens in Trinidad and Tobago, you're going to know about girls, and you're going to know about drugs, and you're going to know about guns, So that's the reality of the world,
Nice.
That's the reality of the world.
So I have to see in the future some Son of Dove or Ras Jammy concert. I love your videos on YouTube, when you mix. Please guys check out, if you love reggae music, dub music. You make a nice, a nice mix.
Yeah. I have a new
I'm
going to have a new
yes.
I'm gonna have a new mixtape series on YouTube. I want to put out a new mixtape series on YouTube. Maybe like every 2 weeks or every month, I would put out a mix. The name of the series would be Ras Jammy Selects, and I would just be making light mixes of some of my favorite songs. Every 2 weeks to 1 month, I would be releasing them.
If you want Evan to put one of your mixes on Afroplug, you're welcome, man. Because we have a YouTube channel.
Of course.
And really want to highlight.
Of course, I do anything for Afroplug.
Talented. Thank you. I really want to highlight producer like you. For me, you one of part of people really making an impact, for events and for the culture, Yes, for me, it's a big family. Like I said, every time I put an email, we have a big family. So thank you very much, Ras Jammy, for this interview. That was really useful. I think our audience is going to love it. And see you soon.